Hi there, this is a quick tutorial on the uses of sidechaining in home music production. Now I'm going to be using Cubase 7 64-bit, but the principle is going to be applied in any digital audio workstation. So I've set up a quick project here, imaginatively called sidechain, and it's just to show you guys the principles. I haven't spent ages on the music or what have you. So sidechaining, what is it? It's generally when one signal is fed into another to attenuate or pull a compressor on and off, or even a phaser, that kind of thing. It's where it affects the signal of another, often in a kind of rhythmical context. Now that's probably not the dictionary definition, and have a look on Wikipedia if you want a proper explanation, but I'll show you it in situ, as it were. So often used between a bass and a kick. This bass line. Now it's already got a dynamic, a chorus and tube saturation, and what I'm going to do is just add another basic compressor, and it should sound like this. Okay, so then I'm going to go on to that last compressor. Now I could just put it there, but because it's being used for sidechaining or a different kind of process, I like to put it somewhere different. So going to compressor, if I open it, threshold, I'm going to turn the ratio up higher to give it more of an effect. You can just leave that as auto, but it's quite annoying, so I'm just going to turn that up to about there. And pull the threshold down a little bit. Now the important point here is to activate sidechain. So we'll activate that sidechain, okay? By doing that, it actually brings it in a different set of menus. So we go onto our kick, which will be feeding the signal in for it to attenuate to or react to. We'll go onto our sends on the kick here. Oops. And I'm going to choose, see, it's down here, Avail percussive, synth, pad, bass. These are ones that I've already actually set up, but I'm just going to have the bass one, because that's the one I want. Make sure it's turned on. Okay, now I've put it to maximum volume to do that. Now, if I go on to the bass, I'll turn it off for a second so we can hear the bass and the kick on their own without the sidechain effect. Now you could already hear it sounds 80s in a kind of early production way. It's kind of muddy sounding, isn't it? But once I activate the sidechain, it'll clean it up. Now you can hear that pumping effect, probably a little bit too much there. But you can hear how the bass attenuates when the kick hits. So now it doesn't have to just be used for bass. It can be used equally well for strings. Now let's just hear the strings on their own. You can see here I've set up this compressor. And on here, on the kick again, so we're on the kick channel, I will now send it to the pad as well. Make sure that's actually turned on. So again, to the extreme. So that will now sound like this. Yeah. But it doesn't all have to go to the kick either. That can sound a little bit monotonous and boring. So what I've done here, percussive synth, for example, on its own it is Nice delay and stuff on here. Now I've already set this one up. I have used a preset here. Oh, a bit crazy. There we go. And activated sidechain on here. Let's turn that ratio up really fast for the sake of it, and bring the threshold really low so you can really hear it. Now what you're going to hear now is just the compression without the sidechain, even though it's on. Even though it's activated, it's not being employed yet. So that's because I'm going to put it to the snare this time. Now if I go to the snare send, I'm going to choose percussive synth, activate. Now then, when I play, it should change. See? And then when this all kicks in, it should all sound a lot more rhythmical now. So that's the basic uses of sidechaining, but you can get a little bit more adventurous with it, and I'll show you on a separate project. So let me just pause this for a sec. So I'm just going to check this is back on, and yes it is. Right, okay, so here I'm using an audio kick rather than a MIDI kick to trigger the sidechain, but it's the same thing and it does the same thing. So you can see I've already got them set up here because we've been through how to set them up in the first place. I've got it all going to this kick, and I've got the pad shop C. The C is literally recordings of the C that I've quantized and mucked about with to make it sound more rhythmical and sort of twisting, and Crystal Freeware synth. Now they will all be affected by this kick drum. Now it's not a 4/4, it's kind of a offbeat one. It is there. I tried to get it to the same as this loop here. So I will show you just the sound itself. Now of course you notice that the sidechain effect, what's going on there, won't kick in till bar 9. The reason being is because I've muted it all till then. So only in bar 9 will it have any effect. Now an important point I'm doing here is that I've not sent it to any, sorry that's the input, I've not sent it to any output bus. The reason being is because I want the effect and not the sound. But let's just put it back to stereo bus first of all. And this is what it will sound like. I should do. So it should be to go with this. Now, I don't actually want that kick in there. So, what I'm going to do is send it to no bus. But the signal itself is still going to come out and attenuate and mess about with the other sounds and employ the sidechaining effect. So, what I've done there is I've already sent it to the pad shop, the C and the crystal. And it should then have this effect. There's a lot going on in here, so I'm just going to stick to one little sound. This is pad shop on here. Out of interest, let's get those inserts off. Let's put everything back on. Now again, there is the compressor. Oh, sorry. And it's employed activated sidechain. Okay. So this is the pad shop. We will then hear it like this for a while. But as soon as 9 kicks in, so will the sidechain effect. Hear it? Now what I've also done here, I've automated the volume. You see, the volume is going to increase of the kick that you can't hear, but you can hear its effect, its pulsating effect. It will become more extreme as it goes through here, and it will reach its apex around about there. Let's turn that loop off. And that's the basic principles of getting things to kind of pulse and change. And there's lots more you could do. You could even do it to the percussion and things like that if you've got a very, very short sound. But we'll end this video here. Thanks for listening.